Very calm here. I haven't even had to tie up. And the boat's coming out. Of course, this is the lock with all the little slogans on it.
Have you heard the tale of Aslan and the Gent? Have you seen their travels before? Well, did you know that they're back again and cruising the canals once more? Sold up downsides for a minimalised alternative life afloat. Going boldly where thousands have been before. One man, one life, one boat.
I'm getting that sudden sense and feeling of zen. That thing I've spoken about before where time just slows down. Because of course time is an abstract concept. It's man-made, it doesn't exist in nature or physics. No other species watches the clock. Other animals and the universe in general follows a simple rule. You exist, and then you don't. I feel like I'm in a trance. You can't really hear anything. You're not really concentrating. You're just floating through. It's very strange. Something that monks have tried to achieve for centuries. If only they'd known about canal boating, eh? Quite splendid. That's the 3 locks, and I'm now going to make my way about another mile to Bridge 73 and find a mooring around there. I had a look on Google like satellite, and there were boats moored up and it looked quite good because there's shops nearby. There's a definite feeling of pleasant happiness in the air today. It's a Sunday, loads of boats, and they've all got big beaming expressions on their faces. It's nice to see, and I'm feeling it myself. Long may it last, and don't let the bastards grind you down. along here would be a fine spot to moor, but I won't get my chains behind those old railway lines. Still, I'm not near Bridge 73 yet. Up ahead it's looking to me like the first of the new build. To be honest, I'm quite surprised. I thought that when I set off that there was going to be a lot more of it, but this is the first I've seen since Hawkesbury Junction. Difficult to tell if they're demolishing an old boatyard or building a new one. It's looking a little bit like my plan to moor up in this area is might not happen because there's nowhere to moor up. Coming up to Bridge 74, which is really the furthest, it's about 0.7 of a mile to the shops from Bridge 74, so I could go another, well, I could go another mile if I have to, and I'd quite happily walk that. But it would be nice to be nearer to a shop. Never mind, the law of probabilities dictates that a mooring will arrive eventually. A big long straight bit, and definitely no moorings along here. I have two boats in front of me, and I imagine they're looking for a mooring as well. It's 5 miles to Braunston, but I hadn't planned on going that far. There's one right by here, but it's extremely narrow. I don't fancy that. And it's just before a bridge. Bridge 76, and it's now about 4.5 miles to Braunston. And from what I remember of Braunston, it's a very popular place to moor up, and especially being a nice sunny Sunday, finding a mooring there could be exciting. There are some boats moored up ahead. That would be very nice, but it's off towpath, so not under the stewardship of CRT. There is a distinct possibility these are moorings coming up. There's an edge of some description. There's Armco here, and there's a gap in it, right on this bend. No, didn't fancy it. And there's this alarm going off on this boat, right by here. I don't want to spend a day or two listening to that. Just been told by the gentleman there that there are Armco moorings after the next bridge. Not this one, but the next one. That is the bridge, I'm told. Well, this is after the bridge. Maybe around this bend. A moored boat. Several moored boats. And I think I can see some Armco. Oh my, that is a beautiful sight. The flat grey of a galvanised steel profile, more commonly known as Armco. Armco. I always think if you want something desperately enough, you will eventually get it. Blimey, that was a day. Yeah, I'd hoped to moor up just after Hillmorton locks. They were moorings, but I thought, well, that's, you know, it's a bit too soon. In hindsight, you know, should have taken them. But I've ended up on quite a nice mooring here. Only downside is there's no shops. There's a shop in Braunston, but that's about 3.5 miles away. So I either move on in the next couple of days, or I get the old sound like art, right? Get the old folding bicycle out and cycle to Braunston. These are the many options available to the keen canal boater. Aren't they gorgeous? Hey, you are handsome. Yes. Very nice 2.5 days moored up there. Little did I know, I was moored up outside a young person's correction facility, or as more commonly known when I were a lad, as a borstal. And next doors to that is a not so young person's correction facility, or more widely known as a prison.
Summer is here?
Summer is here, yeah, finally.
Maybe just a day?
Well, I don't know, it's looking like good forecast all week. The canal's been extremely busy today. I think that might have something to do with school holidays. Though not having children, I have no idea if it is school holidays or not. The final 3 miles then, into Braunston. A very new marina. Bersker, of course, an exceptionally popular area of the canal, being the junction between the Oxford and the Grand Union. And as it is sunny and the canals are very busy, I'm not entirely confident I'll find a spot to moor up. If not, then I need to get some diesel and some food, of course. So I may just have to turn round, come back up here a little bit, and then take a stroll into Braunston. Yesterday and this morning, before I set off, I've edited a decent chunk. Today I managed to edit about 6 minutes of it using nothing but solar power and my battery powered inverter. It's always a bit difficult with solar because as soon as the cloud covers the sun, you lose amps. You end up with like half an amp, which is of use to no one. So I can use my generator, but then I need petrol to run that. I have half a tank of petrol in the generator. It's a 10-litre tank, and it uses a litre an hour, so that's 10 hours. I also have a 10-litre petrol can with 10 litres of fuel in it, so I have a total of 15 hours of usable power for when the sun's not out. The issue is that along this stretch to Braunston and then all the way to Banbury, which is about 40 miles away, there are no petrol stations apart from one at Knapton on the Hill, which isn't far from Braunston Junction when you get onto the South Oxford. So if I can find another petrol can and buy one of those, I can stock up on petrol, and I should, in combination with sunshine, which is supposed to be out this week at least, have all the power I need. But to do all this solely with solar power, it's a fairy tale. It doesn't happen. I could run the engine, of course, but then I wouldn't be able to hear any audio when I'm editing, which wouldn't be a good idea, would it? Looks like the mark of Zorro there. Some more splendid moorings. So far this will be my fallback position if I can't moor at Braunston. Only issue with that is I would then have to continue back up to that marina where I was moored in order to turn round. As I say, last resort, a fallback position. Now around 1.5 miles to Braunston. First sighting of Braunston Church in the distance. Out here in the fields, I fight for my mules. Well, there's no shortage of moorings. I'm wondering if the Armco is a fairly new addition, because I don't remember there being this much mooring. Or maybe it's because I just headed north back in season 1 and wasn't looking to stop. Actually, I'm thinking that instead of going into Braunston today, I'll moor up and walk to Braunston, because it's only about half a mile now, and I can get shopping. And then when I move on, I can go into Braunston and get diesel. Doesn't get much better than that, really, does it? And Braunston just a short walk along the canal. Didn't moor right to the end of the Armco because it's by all this weed, and I'm going to be here a few days, and I don't want to end up with whatever's lurking under the water getting wrapped around the prop. Alright, let's take a stroll along the towpath and have a look around Braunston. This time I thought it'd be nice for a change to get the old, where are we? Get the old Leica MD Type 262 with a, what is it? An Elmerit, Leica Elmerit 28mm f2.8 full frame digital rangefinder without a screen. Yeah. This camera has caused so much debate over the years as to why you would buy a digital camera and not have a screen on the back of it, with 0 options apart from aperture, shutter speed and ISO. But yeah, for those who know, they know. Right, let's go. Sizable expenditures tend to come together all at the same time on a canal boat. Bought 15 litres of engine oil, and now I'm going to be getting diesel. It all comes at the same time. Yeah, exciting stuff. I'm really looking forward to doing this stretch of the Oxford.